Hey y'all, tonight we're gonna do Bible studies, and Bible studies for those that don't know the Bible, especially for those that don't know the Bible. We're gonna do Bible studies regarding people that are atheists and they want to dig into Christianity a little bit more. And we're gonna give some insight to bad people like the wicked, let's say, devil worshippers and stuff, some good words from the Bible for them in order to bring them closer to us. By God's name, amen. So we're going to begin with our Bible studies, prime one. So Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that when somebody was digging and he found that treasure, he went and sold everything he got, and he went and bought that field so he can obtain that treasure. And when he got that treasure, he was happier than ever. There is a certain, let's investigate this. There is a certain, let's say, schemery into this. He didn't dig out, he was smart, he knew what he was doing. Nobody knew there was a treasure there. If he was to dig out the treasure and say, I found the treasure, he might have got looted. But because he went and sold everything he had, traded everything he had, and went and bought the whole field, and he got that treasure, imagine how rich, spiritually rich first, he became. And let's talk about the parable of the prodigal son, regarding a lot of people that don't believe in God yet wonder who God really is. So there was two kids of a very wealthy man. He had his own empire, his own fields, his own workers, and his own workers were getting paid well, and everybody was happy, and the house was happy, and the two sons were happy, up until the day the younger son said, Dad, you know what? I've been around here for too long. Give me my share of the property, my share of the money, and I want to go for a trip and travel the world. And the dad didn't refuse him. He told him, here, son, that's the power of free will. God could have told him, don't go out there. You're going to get hurt. But this is the object of free will. God told him, do what you want to do, son. And he gave him money. And after he went to a faraway land and he wasted everything he had on all the immoral, partying is not immorality. It depends how you party. So he wasted it on parties and hookers and wine and all that stuff and fake friends, and up to the point he became a waster. He wasted all of his father's property. He wasted everything. He was a waster in Skid Row. He was working for pigs and he wasn't even getting paid. Like, eating the sticks from the pigs were enough for him. That's how much was a waste man was. In case for any people still eating from the trash can, may the Lord bless you. So he was a waste man. And then he thought to himself, how many people of my father's workers work for him and get paid well? And I'm here in this foreign land working, eating nothing but sticks. I'm going to go back to my father and beg for his forgiveness and ask for him to be his worker and not his son. And as he was traveling back to his house, his father, quote this, his father saw him from afar. And before the son even reached the house, his father ran to him, hugged him, and kissed him. And he told him, welcome home, son. His father was longing for him. That's for the atheists and the devil worshippers. Your father is longing for you. So his son said, Dad, I'm nothing but a waste man. Let me just be your worker here. I'll do what I can, and you just pay me whatever is fair. I've been starving for a long time. And then God says, put my son the best suit in the house, bring out the fermented beef, and the fermented beef was the highest quality of meat. Fermented beef or something, let's not get into details now. And bring out the best beef, and let's all have a feast today, workers and relatives. And let's all have a party. So party is not bad, so why all this seriousness in the church? Let's have a party, God said. For my son was lost, but now he is found. And that is the parable of the good son. And now, Samaritans were thought as very filthy people by the Israelites, yeah? And they were always enemies. And when they asked Jesus, who is my good neighbor? He told them the parable about the good Samaritan. There was a guy who got robbed in the middle of the street, left with many wounds, left to be taken to the hospital, but he couldn't even move from how many blows he had. And the priest passed by, he saw him, he walked the other way, he ignored him. The priest passed by and saw him, and he didn't do nothing. The Pharisee, the politician passed by, he saw him, and he didn't do nothing. And there was a Samaritan coming, his enemy, his neighbor, of which they didn't have good relationships with him. And the Samaritan saw him, and he felt sorry for him, and he put him on the horse, on the donkey or whatever, and he took him to a 3-star hotel. And he told them, take care of the man's wounds, here's some money up front, and when he's better, I'll come back, pick him up, and pay you the rest that I owe you. When they asked him, who is my neighbor? He told them, your enemy, which your enemy is closest to you, and he can provide security for you and good relationships with you. But humanity doesn't even know how to fully accomplish, how to fully, there's no word, εκμεταλλευτεί. You guys don't know how to use your neighbors properly. Not to use them in a bad way, but to use them in a good way. So let's move forward. He taught people the first prayer, which is, Father, hallowed be thy name. Let us forget our debtors, because you forget our debts as well. Let us not be led into temptation, but get rid of the devil away from the sin away from us. Amen. He taught them how to pray, Jesus. And he resurrected Lazarus 7 days off the tomb, and he cried with the people when they were crying. Not because he didn't know. He didn't tell them, relax guys. You know, he told them, don't worry, Lazarus is not dead, he's just sleeping. But when everybody was crying, he started crying with them. And God doesn't cry fakely, he cries. So God cries, in human form at least. So Jesus cried, he cried with us. And let me put a bracket between the Bible studies and say that Jesus, I checked it on ChatGPT, Jesus is the most historically documented person of the ancient times. Like, it took them 300 years before they write books about Alexander the Great, and it took them 150 years before they write books about Julius Caesar's life. And it took him only 30 to 50 years to write books about Jesus' life. So he's the most authentic, like historically, it's definitely proven and documented that he existed. So at least let's not doubt history, you know. So all these things happened. All these things happened. Let's move with something nice. Let's move with some. Whoever rewards a man of God, a prophet, whoever rewards a prophet a glass of water shall be rewarded as if he was a prophet himself. That's to show equality. So that's for any of you bad people out there, at least every now and then, at least buy a bottle of water and give it to somebody that needs it. Please. We need you in heaven with us. Please. In general, it's so easy to be saved. So let's analyze a few more things. You know, he resurrected a lot of people. The demons were bowing to him. The story of the demonized, possessed person named Legion, the demonized person in Gergesa, as the chapter says it. So when Legion saw Jesus coming from afar, he rushed to him and kissed his feet and bowed to him. And he told him, Master. But Jesus was yelling at him, demonic spirit, get out of him. And he told him, Master, please, let us not go to hell. At least give us some more times. Don't send us back. Let us go to the pigs. And Jesus didn't refuse even to the demons. He told them, go. And the demons went to the pigs. The pigs went crazy and committed suicide. The pigs were crazy and committed suicide. So who does Jesus refer to when he means pigs? Because he said another thing about pigs. He said, do not give the holy things to pigs and dogs, because pigs shall step on them and turn against you, and dogs shall rip on them and tear you apart. That's for bad people that you're doing good things to them, and they are nothing but pigs and dogs. When a pig gets negative, he dies. And I'm not calling people out there pigs. I'm just calling, well, that's how the parable goes, and God said it, and who the fuck are we to fucking disagree? This is God talking. There are some people, I've seen a lot of them. There are some people who are nothing but hogs and fucking dogs. And let's not hide behind our fingers. Amen. So do not give the holy things to pigs and dogs, Jesus said. Other than that, when Jesus walked into the city, people were cheering for him, and the demon-possessed people used to bow at his feet, and they used to call him, you are the Messiah. But Jesus talked strict to them not to speak about it. When Jesus got crucified, he said, Lord, forgive them, because they do not know what they do. And a couple of hours after he died on the cross, he said that while he was on the cross, Lord, forgive them, because they do not know what they do. Also on the cross he said, Lord, why have you forsaken me? And his last words was, it is now finished. It is now done. I've done my mission. And 3 days after, he got resurrected, and he showed up to more than 500 people. And all these 500 people were carrying his testimony. And he made a lot of waves into the Israelite world. And, well, I love the Israelites, but there's a certain book they have that leads them into curse. And this is to raise controversy. I don't give a fuck. I'm an Israelite as well. there's a certain book that you guys wrote about Christianity that is not going to take you anywhere. And I suggest you remove the parts that talk against Jesus and keep going your faith, and don't be bad to the Christians and other religions, because after all, you are the mother of this world. You should nurture other people. Love your neighbor was meant for you first, and us later, and them later, because me and you is us. When Jesus was praying before he was going to face the holy test of getting whipped and getting sent to a cross, he got so worried, he got a hematoma type, that he was praying and he was worried and he was sweating blood. This is a type of hematoma, some scientists told me. And it does happen to people when they get overstressed. So when they say he was sweating tears of blood, man, you better believe it. Knowing that you're about to die a horrible death and actually waiting for it and going for it willingly, you know, he was God. He took a human form. So don't diss him. He felt what we feel. And why did he do that? Because it had to be done this way. So you can see the consequences of your actions, and so you can learn to distinct the difference between good and evil, as is said in Genesis. They shall not return back to heaven unless they learn to distinct good from bad, wickedness from virtue. So, yeah, that's it for today.